All right. Hello, hello. This is Cyron Taffy. Welcome to the stream. Today we're going to be playing Dragon Age 2, mostly because I think it is a fantastic entry point into the series. And I really want to play the Dragon Age games before Veilguard comes out. Now, who knows when Veilguard's supposed to come out? They haven't come out with a release date just yet, but in my opinion, I think it's going to be released somewhere in November. And I want to get it done before then. I want to show everybody what I love about the games and why I love them, and just show them just how good these games are. So we're going to be playing the second one. The second one is going to be about Hawke. Now, Hawke is very funny, and I think we're going to be playing Purple Hawke all the way through. We're just kind of going to do my quote-unquote canon playthroughs. Not because I think my playthrough is better than anybody else's, but just because I really enjoy my playthroughs, and I want to enjoy my time too before Veilguard. I kind of want to brush up on everything that I've been neglecting the past year or so, and kind of just really hype myself up for this fourth game. Well, that's all I really have to say. I decorated my PNG for today too. I think I want to start decorating my PNGs for like all of my scheduled streams, not for like Fortnite or maybe something like that. But for like the streams that I want to spend a lot of time on, I think we're gonna be decorating. Because look at this. Can you guess what class we're gonna be playing? Just call me Raccoon. Or maybe don't do that. Yeah, don't do that. This is... Yeah, so I figured every time we got into a fight, I would just switch to the angry and then go back to default. It's just so cute. I don't know, maybe I'll stick like this the whole stream just because I love the little squinty eyes and like little eyebrows. They're just so cute. Alright, I think it's time to stop digging around. Let's go, Dragon Age. I kind of skipped past the, loading screen because if I'm honest, I really don't want to dox myself. Like my real, email. I don't really care if you guys ever found it, but, I don't know, I just don't really want anyone, I just don't want to flaunt it, especially since the EA servers really want the emails and stuff, and I don't want to rebuy the games. I don't want to do that. So, as soon as you hit the new game, you are immediately booted into this selection screen. This gentleman right here is also Hawke, and this is Hawke, my Hawke. This is Garrett's Hawke. He is the quote-unquote male version of Hawke, and this is Marion Hawke, who's the female version. In a lot of like fandom circles, they're treated as like twins because you're gonna find that their siblings are also twins, and everybody really honestly really loves Garrett and Marion equally. You can always make your own character if you don't like them, but in my opinion, Marion Hawke is peak. I love her so bad. She's everything I want to be. And honestly, you can pick whatever class you want to. There's really no bad ones. Being a mage for this game is really eventful, as with how they're treated in this part of the world, and also like the political sphere side of it. I like being a mage, but in my opinion, rogue is where it's at. And then warrior, I always play warrior. So like my first game in Dragon Age Origins, I played the warrior, and in Inquisition I'm playing a mage, so I just decided to round it out with a rogue Hawke. But it's also because like their siblings are also a warrior and a mage, so it kind of just fits. Like they're just a trio of all three all 3 classes. So, as a female rogue, I can wield a dagger in each hand or rain arrows from a distance. They are particularly adept at tearing down individual opponents and are the only class that can pick locks or disarm traps. And that's also a major buff from the warrior or mage. I like to get my grubby little paws on everything possible. If you ever watch me play BG3, I'll do the same there too. Alright.
Gentler invitations.
I am Cassandra Pentecost, Seeker of the Chantry.
And just, what are you seeking?
The champion.
Which one?
You know exactly why I'm here. Time to start talking, dwarf. They tell me you're good at it.
What do you want to know?
Everything. Start at the beginning.
Scouts. We will have to fight them sooner or later. Then we make our stand here. Prepare yourself.
Now, this game is going to be very campy and very, kind of cringe, low-key, but it's funny in the way that it's, kind of worded, in some of its, like, campiness. So, as you can see in the very beginning, oh, okay. Yeah, it's gonna teach me about skills, too. Cool. But yeah, as you can see in the beginning, like, this game is gonna be about, like, Varric telling his story. That was the man in the beginning. His name is Varric. And he's telling this story to Cassandra Pentecost, who is the woman that kind of, like, dragged him. Come on. I think we're just playing on regular. Because if I'm honest, I usually play with a controller, so that's why I'm kind of like, what the fuck is going on? I've never played the Dragon Age games without a controller. But I'm usually really good. I've been playing these games for a long time. About 10 or 12 years now. And this is our sister. Isn't she pretty? Okay, so there's 3 different, like, behavior styles. There's the Paragon, or Diplomatic. There's, like, Mischievous or Sarcastic. That's gonna be this guy right here. And then, this is, aggressive. Or maybe, like, the Renegade, if you're into Mass Effect. Most people just call them by their colors because, you know, blue, purple, red, it kind of just makes more sense.
Perhaps we'll be lucky, and they'll run out of Darkspawn. Here they come. Shall I deal with them?
Hell yeah.
All yours, sister.
Get them bitches! Yes! God, I love her so bad. Fucking Bethany is everything to me. Okay, miasmic, flask, stuns, targets. Let's fucking go. Hold on, I'm gonna okay, so we got backstab, lightning quick, rogue vanishes in a smoke screen and reappears behind the enemy. We've got the flask that stuns people. We've got evade, where you leap backwards. And then we've got an explosive strike. Okay, built up by unforgiving chain. Every basic melee attack that the rogue completed immediately prior to using explosive strike increases the damage inflicted. Then you can go into stealth, and then we got rush. The rogue rushes forward, attempting to knock down the target and all nearby enemies. Okay. This pause button is fantastic, by the way. I fucking love it. It's gonna be very helpful later when we're getting our asses fucking whipped. I'm also not playing this game on Nightmare simply because this game is fucking terrifying on Nightmare. I can never get my head around it. Like, I can play Inquisition and Origins on Nightmare, but this game really fucks me up. In my opinion, it's the hardest game in this series, but it's also like the most fun because it's the shortest one. It's just like a bite-sized Dragon Age adventure. I fucking knocked myself out too. So far, so good. Yeah, we might play Inquisition on Nightmare, but we're not gonna play this one on Nightmare. We'll play Inquisition after this game. And then if we have time, we'll go back to Origins. But I kind of just want to get these two done first, because they're the most lore heavy, and the more like necessary ones for Veilguard. Hell, we might even read the books too, or the comic books, or both. Really just depends. Because, baby, we're playing Veilguard day one. Like, we're taking time off to play that fucking game. I've been waiting for that game for literally 10 years. Hopefully we'll get better, y'all. But we're not playing for skill, we're playing for fun. Alright, this guy is an ogre. Fucking massive. And they're terrifying. Watch, this guy's gonna run us. Yep. Oh my gosh. That's my favorite part, is being able to do that. But as you can see in this segment of it, it really doesn't matter how big you are, because it's Varric telling his story still. And in his story, the hero always wins, okay? I wish that was the whole game. Unfortunately for us, we gotta have to stop having skill issues at some point. She's so cool.
There's no end to them. Bullshit. That's not what really happened.
Does that not match the story you've heard, Seeker?
I'm not interested in stories. I came to hear the truth.
What makes you think I know the truth?
Don't lie to me! You knew her even before she became the champion.
Even if I did, I don't know where she is now.
Do you have any idea what's at stake here?
Let me guess. Your precious chantry's fallen to pieces and put the entire world on the brink of war. And you need the one person who could help you put it back together.
The champion was at the heart of it when it all began. If you can't point me to her, tell me everything you know.
You aren't worried I'll just make it up as I go?
Not at all.
You'll need to hear the whole story.
Okay, so again, this game is extremely campy, but it's funny as hell because this game is the entirety of this game is literally Varric telling Cassandra his story about Hawke and where Hawke is. Because in the third game, they need Hawke for some reason, and Varric is just leading Cassandra around in what he knows about Hawke, because this game is him telling the story about what he told Cassandra. So it's like, not only are we telling, because he's like telling the story here, but this game is literally, it exists because he's telling the story in the third game. So it's like, this game doesn't make fucking sense. And it's meant to not make sense because it's like a fabrication of his imagination. Because this dude is literally an author. And as you can see here, tons of presets. Tons of presets. You can also like go in here and make your own character. But me personally, this is my Marion Hawke right here. This is my peak. Might not be your peak, and that's fine, but this is my peak. And here, you can import your origin save from the first game, or you can just go with a preset. For the benefit of this game, we're gonna go with the hero of Ferelden as the default. I don't really care. Mine is different. If we ever play Origins, you'll be able to see what my canon history is. But for now, we're just gonna go with Hero of Ferelden, and the Hero of Ferelden is, you know, the classic story of a young nobleman who became a legend. Like he survived it, because you can die, as seen with the martyr. Your character can die, but you know. He saved the world. His best friend Alistair became king. All is well. Nothing juicy happened. Hell no. No, we're gonna play normal. We'll at least do the normal difficulty. We won't do casual.
The blight have been unleashed on Ferelden. Darkspawn poured out of the wilds, clashing against the army at the ruins of Ostagar. The battle was a disaster. King Kalen died on the field with his men, betrayed by his most trusted general. Unopposed, the Horde marched on the village of Lothering. The village burned, and many innocents were slaughtered. The champion's family barely escaped in time.
I think that's all of them.
For the moment, make us save us. We've lost it all. Everything your father and I built.
And this is why I say that Dragon Age 2 is the perfect spot to jump in for literally anybody. Like, the first 30 minutes of the game is you getting a feel for the, like, what the game is about, with how Varric words the story, and also, like, how the combat is. But it's also because Varric basically condenses the whole story of Origins into this game for you. So he doesn't give you everything, he doesn't give you every detail, but he gives you enough to, like, kind of accustom you to the world of Thedas. And also, the main character is literally a nobody that we've never heard of, a brand new character. So you're both figuring it out together. She's a commoner. She doesn't know anything about Ostagar or what happened in the first game. Like, we're literally leaving the country in this game, so she wouldn't even have an idea of what happened in the Blight. So it's perfect. You guys figure it out together, and then you progress on to the third game, where you're pretty much a veteran of the Dragon Age franchise. All right, so we're gonna go with Purple Hawke. Pretty much always. I just like it. It's funny.
At least we're alive. That's no small feat.
Yes, you're right.
We should have run sooner. Why did we wait so long?
Why are you looking at us? We've been running since Ostagar.
Yeah. So these two were actually in the war. They do, I lied. They do have an idea of what happened at Ostagar, but not anything past Ostagar. They just know that things went bad. They were part of the king's men for like the soldiers that are drafted into the war. They didn't work for King Kalen, but they took orders from Loghain, in like just kind of like what commoners do. Like, they just took up swords for their country to preserve Ferelden from the Blight. But they were like, fuck this, things are going bad, let's go home. And so they went back from Ostagar, which is just a few hours away, to Lothering. And now they're running with their mother and their sister to safety, because the Darkspawn and the Blight is basically like an apocalyptic event.
Not to interrupt, but the Blight's not going to wait while we stand here pointing fingers.
Please, listen to your sister.
Then let's go. Lead on.
Yeah, so this is Carver, this is our little brother, and then this is Bethany, she's our little sister, they're twins. This is Leandra, who's our mother, and then this is our dog. I have the DLC for all the games, so we get everything, including the dog. So we're gonna go ahead and just save, just real quick. Make sure we don't lose our place. Then we're gonna go into our codex and kind of read up about the characters. That's in our journal. Our current quest is find a way past the Darkspawn Horde. The Darkspawn Horde at this point in the story is tearing down Lothering, which is just a very small, like, farming community. Not a lot of people there can fight. They're all just basically like refugees from the apocalyptic Blight. And then this is our codex. We're gonna read the codex entries because this contains like 90% of the lore for the games and in their entirety. I feel like without the codex, Dragon Age just isn't Dragon Age. So, Hurlocks. Taller than their Genlock cousins, the Hurlocks are roughly of human size that are possessed of considerable strength and constitution. The shock troop of the Darkspawn, a single berserking Hurlock, can often be a match for numerous opponents at once. They are often known to adorn themselves with roughly carved tattoos to keep track of their kills and deeds, though it is unknown whether or not there is a uniform standard to these markings. And then there's the Mabari Warhound. The Hurlock is one of the Darkspawn that we saw in the beginning, and then the Mabari Warhound is the dog that we have. Dogs are an essential part of Ferelden culture, and no dog is more prized than the Mabari. The breed is as old as myth, said to have been bred from the wolves who served Dane. Prized for their intelligence and loyalty, these dogs are more than mere weapons or status symbols. They're hounds. The hounds choose their masters and pair with them for life. To be the master of a Mabari anywhere in Ferelden is to be recognized instantly as a person of worth. The Mabari are an essential part of Ferelden military strategy. Trained hounds can easily pull knights from horseback or break lines of pikemen, and the sight and sound of a wave of war dogs howling and snarling has been known to cause panic among even the most hardened infantry soldiers. The Mabari are probably like my favorite thing ever. They had a really cool moment in the first game where there was like a cutscene of the Mabari tearing down the Darkspawn, and you can just see this part of it for yourself. So it's really cool how much they pay attention to that. The Darkspawn. Those who had sought claim to heaven by violence destroyed it. What was golden and pure turned black. Those who had once been mage lords, the brightest of their age, were no longer men, but monsters. Threnodies 12:1. Sin was the midwife that ushered the Darkspawn into this world. The Magisters fell from the Golden City, and their fate encompassed all our worlds, for they were not alone. No one knows where the Darkspawn came from, a dark mockery of men in the darkest places they thrive, growing in numbers as a plague of locusts will. In raids, they will often take captives, dragging their victims alive into the deep roads, but most evidence suggests that these are eaten. Like spiders, it seems Darkspawn prefer their food still breathing. Perhaps they are simply spawned by the darkness. Certainly we know that evil has no trouble perpetrating itself. The last blight was in the Age of Towers, striking once again at the heart of Tevinter, spreading south into Orlais and east into the Free Marches. The plague spread as far as Ferelden, but the withering and twisting of the land stopped well beyond our borders. Here, Darkspawn have never been more than the stuff of legends. In the northern lands, however, particularly Tevinter and the Anderfells, they say Darkspawn haunt the hinterlands, preying on outlying farmers and isolated villages, a constant threat. From Ferelden Folklore and History by Sister Patrines, Chantry Scholar. So the funny thing about this game is things are backwards. So it says that in the northern lands, Tevinter and the Anderfells lie. North is south and south is north. So Tevinter and Anderfells are like south, like down on the map, and then where everything else is up if they're in the south technically. So that's an interesting note. Also, there is religion in this game called the Chant of Light, and that is where this passage comes from. The Threnodies and stuff are like the different books for the Chant of Light, and then the Age of Towers is a calendar, like a mark of like passage of time. So the history of the world is broken down into different ages. Hence, we are in the Dragon Age, or the age that all the dragons came back. So every 100 years, a new age is born, and like the Chantry is the one that kind of prophesizes what happens in the next age. Marion Hawke. The daughter of Malcolm Hawke and Leandra Amell, Marion has lived in many places throughout Ferelden. Her mother and younger sister, Bethany, were her father and younger sister, Bethany, were apostate mages. Thus, the family was constantly on the move, avoiding Templar hunters. 10 years ago, the family settled in the village of Lothering, building a home on the outskirts and making a life where they wouldn't be forever on the run. Though Leandra worried constantly that the Templars would one day catch up to them, Malcolm kept his abilities secret and taught his daughter to do the same. He died 3 years ago, leaving Marion responsible for the welfare of her mother and younger siblings. When the Blight began, Marion and Carver quickly enlisted in King Caelan's regiment. The horde spilling from the Korcari wilds meant their home would be quickly overrun if the Darkspawn were not defeated immediately. However, the Battle of Ostagar ended with the betrayal and death of King Caelan. Marion and Carver barely escaped the chaos with their lives and returned to Lothering to get their mother and Bethany out with only moments to spare. So yeah, basically what I said in the beginning, they didn't work as like knights for King Caelan, but they worked within like the commoners' army. And then Bethany and their father, Malcolm Hawke, were both mages, aka like wizards. They have magic and are capable of magical gifts. So apostates are mages that do not work for the Chantry or do not live in the circles, which is where they put all the mages because they fear their power. Bethany and Malcolm are technically illegal to exist as apostate mages outside of the Chantry. So they were being hunted by Templars, which are basically like mage bounty hunters or the police, in terms of like the Chantry sending them out to ensure that there are no illegal acts being committed. And then this is just, you know, the little tutorials. So we're not going to read those. I just care about the lore. Alright, so we are going to finally take a step forward. And we're going to go and see... Oh, okay. Yeah, I knew they would come up behind us too. So I'm just trying to see. And then Carver can handle this shit. And then Bethany. We're not gonna 100% stay on Marianne or anything like that, especially since we have to have a healer. So baby, I will be running around with the mage if needed. That's also why I like being a mage as well, because, you know, they can heal. Rogues can't heal. Warriors can't heal. Alright. Injury kits are for when your character gets knocked out. They wake up with an injury or like a debuff. Alright, inventory. We are going to... Damn, do I want a bow or do I want a knife? I can't remember if this game has... Because in the first game you could like switch between two weapons, but I don't think you can do that in this game. We're gonna stick with this though, with the knife, and then just keep a bow, just in case. And then, level up. Attributes. Strength is for warriors, pretty much, and then willpower is for rogues and warriors, pretty much. That's like your stamina. This is like a warrior's damage dealer. This is a rogue's damage dealer, and also like your evasiveness. Magic is a mage's damage dealer, and then cunning is kind of like your crit damage, crit rates, and then constitution is obviously your health. So we're going to go ahead and just commit to about 2 dexterity, 1 cunning, and then we'll get some constitution and willpower later. But I just like to keep up on that because, you know, rogues have to have a high DPS value. And then, you know, we're going to get the backstab. We're going to keep going. Keep trucking.
Wait, where are we going?
Away from the Darkspawn, where else?
And then where? We can't just wander aimlessly.
So long as we wander aimlessly away from the Horde, I'm happy.
We can go to Kirkwall.
Well, that wouldn't be my first choice.
There's a lot of Templars in Kirkwall, Mother. I know that, but we still have family there, and an estate. Then we need to get to Gwarin and take ship.
If we survive that long, I'll just be happy to get out of here.
Our little brother is very negative all the time.
You will not have him!
She's so badass, bro. Like, what the fuck you mean you're gonna cut off something's head like that?
They will not have you. Not while I breathe.
It's also just so funny because, like, you keep thinking about this shit and you're like, is she really like that? Because, I mean, this isn't real. This is what Varric thinks happened. And Varric wasn't here for this part. So he doesn't even know what the fuck happened either. Yeah. He's just...
Stop squirming, Wesley. You'll make it worse.
He's just suffering, man.
Apostate, keep your distance.
Yep, see? Here he goes.
Mother Maker has a sense of humor. Darkspawn and now a Templar. I thought they all abandoned Lothering.
The Spawn are clear in their intent, but a mage is always unknown. The Order dictates.
Wesley.
That woman is an apostate. The Order dictates.
Dear, they saved us. The Maker understands.
Of course.
I am Aveline Valen. This is my husband, Sir Wesley. We can hate each other when we're safe from the Horde.
Yeah, so in the way that the king has soldiers and knights, the Chantry, who follows the Chant of Light, have Templars, and they're also called knights. They're called Templar Knights. And Templar Knights are in charge of rounding mages up and sticking them into the circle. Every nation has a different law for that, but, you know, pretty much the general consensus is that mages are dangerous and Templars are needed to control them. A lot of Templar characters, like Sir Wesley, are extremely classist toward the mages. And we're gonna be seeing that happen as the game unfolds for Dragon Age 2. And then this is Aveline. She's not a Templar. She's carrying his shield. That's what she's doing.
A strange time to be hunting apostates. His fellows left with the Chantry priests.
I was traveling to Denerim on business for the Order, but I had to turn south when I heard of Ostagar.
Bad luck and judgment brought us together here before the attack.
The nice Templar has been convinced to postpone his hunt for illegal mages. So let's not dwell upon it, shall we?
Wise girl.
You're quick to offer your allegiance.
Another blade between us and the Darkspawn? Yes, please.
So long as the Horde is their first concern.
My duty is clear, but that is for another day, if we are granted that opportunity.
We will be fine. We all will.
For a while it looked like we were the only ones to escape the Darkspawn.
We aren't free of them yet. Just like at Ostagar, this is just the start.
You were there. Yes, I see it now. Third Company, under Captain Varro.
Then you saw how the whole of the army was defeated.
We fell to betrayal, not the Darkspawn. This arm of the Horde will not have the same advantage.
The wrath of the Templars is terrible indeed.
More so their wives. But as long as there is a greater danger, you and I have an accord.
Thank you, Wesley.
Yeah.
For now, we move
So
with you.
he's
North is
reasonable
cut
so
off.
long as
We barely
Aveline
escaped
is
the main body of the
there
Horde.
to beat his
We're
ass.
trapped. The wilds are to the south. That's no way out.
If the options are south or die, I'll take my chances with south.
Period. Let's go. South or die. Yep, and you know, this is how the whole game is. I'm so real. Like, Bethany loves us and idolizes us, and then Carver fucking hates our guts. Like, he's just so jealous. But I love him. He's my little baby brother. You can't not love him. You know? I mean, you can, but I refuse to. That's my kid. Alrighty. And then we're gonna put it right here because it's gonna walk right up in here. Hell yeah, she knows how to aim. And then she's a tank. She's got a sword and a shield, so we're just gonna put her ass right on up here. She can handle it. Gonna be so serious. I might switch to the well, I guess it wouldn't really be reasonable to switch to the bow and arrow right now, huh? Since I've already invested in some dagger moves. Damn. That's okay. I like the animations in this game a lot. They're the best animations out of the entire fucking series, and I'm so serious. I'll fight about that. Now, Veilguard does look like it has some amazing animations, though, so I'm really, really excited to see what's going on there. Same thing here, 2 magic, 1 willpower. And then we'll give her some constitution later. She's not really like a tank or anything, so they don't need a lot of health if you know how to squeeze it out. I'm gonna give her a heal. Then Carver, I'm gonna put all his points into strength, baby. Because he's not a tank, he's a DPS warrior. He has the great sword, whereas Aveline has a sword and a shield, so she is a tank. I'm gonna give him a mighty blow. And we're gonna keep on trucking. I wish the dog had stats too, but he does not. In the first game, the dog did have stats. And that was a really cool thing that I liked about Origins, was how in-depth it was about its system. Yeah, the mouse and keyboard is so painful. I wish it had controller support on Steam, but I don't think it does. That's why I keep playing like this. If I had the controller option, I would absolutely take it. Three plus physical damage. We'll give it to... Yeah, we'll keep it since, you know, we're a rogue. 5 physical damage. Okay, so we're gonna switch it. I'm gonna move it to junk. We're gonna move all this to junk so we can just quick sell it later. We're gonna go ahead and save. I rewrite my saves. I don't know if you guys are a horde saver or what, but I always rewrite mine, I don't know. I could probably have done it on hard if I'm honest. I don't think I could have done it on Nightmare, but I could have done it on hard. That's okay. Nightmare just has some finesse that I need with the controller. Like, you just need to have a controller for that one if you're not used to the mouse and keyboard.
Quickly,
Especially since this is more like an action-adventure vibe. All the Dragon Age games are different in terms of their gameplay. The first game is like a point-and-click. This one is a action-adventure, and the third one is kind of like a mixture of both of them. The Korkari Wilds. It is said that in the midst of the Black Age, when werewolves stalked the lands of Ferelden in numbers that kept every farmholder indoors and a hound on every doorstep, a powerful Arl of the Alamari peoples stood and declared that he would put an end to the threat. His Arling stood on the border of the Dark Forest on the southern border of the Ferelden Valley, and he claimed that the werewolves used the forest to launch their midnight assaults on humanity. For 20 years, this Arl led an army of warriors and hounds deep into the forest. In his hunt for the werewolves, he slew not only every wolf he came upon, but also every member of the chastened wilder folk. Any one of them, he said, could harbor a demon inside, and thus be a werewolf in disguise. For 20 years, the forest rang with screams, and the rivers ran red. The tales say that the old chastened woman found her sons all dead at the Arl's blades. He pulled one of those very blades from one son's heart and plunged it into her own chest, cursing the Arl's name as she did so. Where her blood touched the ground, a mist began to rise. It spread and spread until it was everywhere in the forest. The Arl's army became lost, and it is said that they died there. Others say that they wander still. The ruins of his Arling stand to this day, filled with the ghosts of women waiting eternally for their husbands to return. The forest of the legend is, of course, the Korkari Wilds. There are as many legends about this great southern forest as there are shadows, or so the saying goes. The chastened wilder folk have made their home there since mankind first came to these lands, and the wildlands spread as far as the south as anyone has ventured. Beyond the mists are vast tracts of snow, white-capped mountains, and entire fields of ice. It is a land too cold for mankind to survive, yet the chastened eke out an existence even there, and they tell of horrors beyond the wilds that even the lowland folk could not begin to comprehend. To most, Ferelden simply ends with the Korkari Wilds. There is nothing beyond. The wilds is a land of great trees, wet marshes, and dangerous monsters. What more need to be said? From the Land of the Wilders by Mother Alis, Chantry Scholar, 918 Dragon. Yeah, the Korkari Wilds is a place you go in the first game. It's definitely a creepy forest. And it's, it's meant to be haunted, as we read from the story. It's just a very scary forest. The cool thing about this game is always that they're committed to the bit in terms of, like, folklore and, like, different cultures. Let's do... what's this one? Critical chance. And then this is... yep, okay. So that's our little traps and stuff like that. Back to back, rogue stealths and moves to a targeted ally's side. I think we're gonna go with, that's for archery. I think we're gonna go for this one, stealth, and then scoundrel. And then we're gonna give her 1 constitution, 1 willpower, and 1 magic. Kinda similar to what we're doing to ourselves. And then this one, I think, yep. This buffs us, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that one. And then a carver, God bless him. we're just gonna keep loading them up with DPS. And then we're gonna do opposite for Aveline. We're gonna give her more constitution and then give her a strength. Because she is a tank. We're gonna make her a tank. The deflecting damage, elemental aegis, stonewall. Damage resistance, 50%. Or a shield bash. We're gonna give her shield bash and then go straight to the bottom one. Oh man.
You soulless bastards!
Yeah, I always get so sad about Carver and Bethany because you can't have both of them. If Carver doesn't die, then Bethany dies. You know, like, this fucking ogre just takes things away from us. You're gonna find that Hawke's life is extremely, extremely sad and unfortunate. Back up Bethany a little bit. Aveline can handle this ogre. Hell yeah, she can. Look at her. Yeah, I think we're gonna go ahead and just switch over to Bethany and just start fucking hacking. Let's go. Aveline tanked that shit. I don't care. That was all Aveline. I don't want to take any responsibility for that one. Oh, fuck. Let's go.
Carver, wake up. The battle's over. We're fine.
I'm sorry, Mistress. Your son is gone.
No, these things will not take Carver.
Yeah, that's kind of why we were just loading Carver up with random shit. I'm sorry. That poor guy. That's my baby. And you know, I always say that, you know, we should do these, but, you know, that's my little
Carver
brother.
gave himself to save us.
I don't want a hero. I want my son.
Shit's
How could you let him
fucking
charge off
heartbreaking.
like that? Your little brother. My little boy.
Mother, we can't stay here. Carver wouldn't want his sacrifice to be meaningless.
Allow me to commend your son's soul to the Maker.
And then
Mistress.
Bethany literally losing her other
Ashes
half.
we were, and ashes we become. Maker, give this young man a place at your side. Let us take comfort in the peace he has found in eternity.
Yeah, the twins really, really love Hawke, but
I will never forget you, Carver.
the relationships the twins had were different. They really, really loved each other.
But at least Father will have company now.
Alright, rest in peace, Carver.
Flames. We're
If I
too
could take you
late.
with me every time I would, buddy.
I will not.
As infuriating as he is, that, you know, that always, that's my little brother. gonna go help out Bethany over here.
There's no end to them.
Dun dun dun. I'm so excited for her! Let's fucking up! Y'all may have Targaryens, but I have Flemeth. She is everything to me. She is so... okay. Fucking... She's so hot, bro. I know she's old, but... Is this a hear me out, or is this just...
What have we here?
Or is she just hot, you know? Me personally, I don't think it's a hear me out.
It used to be we never got visitors to the wilds, but now it seems they arrive in hordes.
Impressive. Where'd you learn how to turn into a dragon?
Perhaps I am a dragon. If so, count yourself lucky. The smell of burning Darkspawn does nothing for the appetite. If you wish to flee the Darkspawn, you should know you are heading in the wrong direction.
Wait, you can't just leave us here.
Can I not? I spotted a most curious sight. A mighty ogre vanquished. Who could perform such a feat? But now my curiosity is sated, and you are safe for the moment. Is that not enough?
You could show me
I want to be a dragon.
That looks useful.
If only a clever tongue was all one needed. Tell me, clever child, how do you intend to outrun the Blight?
We need to get to Kirkwall, in the Free Marches.
Kirkwall? My, but that is quite the voyage you plan. Your king will not miss you, hmm?
He has no opinion. Yeah,
sure
he's
he'll miss his
fucking
life
dead.
Oh, you I like. Hurtled into the chaos, you fight, and the world will shake before you.
I also just really love the colors in this game.
I can never decide.
Oh my god, I never noticed that me and Flemeth are wearing the same color. This was my fucking subconscious right here.
Fortune smiles on us both today.
What, are you
I
joking?
may be able to help you yet.
This is literally my color right here. Right here. This purple. Insane.
There must be a catch.
There is always a catch. Life is a catch. I suggest you catch it while you can.
Maybe we shouldn't trust her. I don't even know what she is.
I know what she is. The Witch of the Wilds.
Some call me that. Also Flemeth. Asha Belinar. An old hag who talks too much. Does it matter? I offer you this. I will get your group past the Horde in exchange for a simple delivery to a place not far out of your way. Would you do this for a Witch of the Wilds?
What is a Witch of the Wilds exactly? A chastened legend. Witches that steal children.
Bah, as if I had nothing better to do.
You're an apostate?
Yes, just like you.
You would go through all that trouble to have something delivered?
I have an appointment to keep. It is far more convenient this way. Happily, you're not without your own needs.
How much trouble will this delivery be exactly?
About as much trouble as my saving your lives not 5 minutes ago.
Good point.
If you knew my daughter, you'd know how seldom I hear that.
Should we trust her? Wesley is injured. We'll never escape the Darkspawn.
If you need to, leave me behind.
No. I said I would drag you out if I had to, and I meant it.
Now, Wesley, if you guys are kind of like a little confused about why Wesley is like that right now, remember when he got hit in the back by that Darkspawn? He consumed Darkspawn blood. So Darkspawn are toxic. Their blood will kill you, whether it is in minutes, seconds, hours. Wesley may have had a little bit of a resistance to it, but usually, depending on how much Darkspawn blood you consume, you will die within a day. If you consume a whole cup, for an instance, you can die within seconds. So Wesley is currently like in toxic shock, and his body is shutting down. And so basically they're faced with the choice: either take her help for better or for worse, even though that she is a witch, that she cannot be trusted, that she is obviously very powerful and very scary, or, you know, just take their chances and Wesley doesn't make it, or Aveline doesn't make it, or the rest of their family dies, kind of thing. And, you know, it's a little strange to see Flemeth, such a powerful figure, just come out of nowhere, but it's really not out of her character to want to do this for some randoms. Like, Flemeth is somebody that plays with life or death. She sees herself as a god, that she is a shaper of history.
Roast a few more, Darkspawn. I'll do anything you want.
Sadly, my charity is at an end. There is a clan of Danish elves near the city of Kirkwall. Deliver this amulet to their keeper, Marathari. Do as she asks with it, and any debt between us is paid in full. Before I take you anywhere, however, there is another matter.
No.
That was such a good cough. Like, you know those fucking whooping coughs?
Is within his blood
I don't know how he summoned that one,
You
but...
lie!
She's right, Aveline. I can feel the corruption inside me.
What are you talking about?
From the Darkspawn. All that blood. I knew when it happened.
And how much time before you?
Not long now, if I am any judge.
This corruption is the permanent sort, I take it.
The only cure I know of is to become a Grey Warden.
And they all died at Ostagar?
Not all, but the last are now beyond your reach.
Aveline, listen to me.
You can't ask me this. I won't.
Please. The corruption is a slow death. I can't.
I always feel so bad for Wesley and Aveline. Like, they're just so tragic.
He's your husband, Aveline. I can't decide his fate.
It just feels wrong for me to decide it, you know? Like... I don't play God. If I can help it. And this game always breaks my heart, or like really moves me, because the characters always feel like people. You know, letting them have their own choices and their own agency is very important to me. Especially when moments like these happen, where you can sense the conflict in that character, or they feel grateful for letting you let them be a person.
Without an end, there can be no peace. It gets no easier. Your struggles have only just begun.
Flemeth,
I thought that might interest you.
you expect me to believe a myth swooped out of the wild to save the champion?
Oh, come now, Seeker. Do I need to recite the tale of the Warden as well?
No. Perhaps I shouldn't be surprised to hear of her involvement.
I liked my version better too.
What else aren't you telling me then? Did she send someone with the champion?
In a matter of speaking.
So it's true. Continue. But if you tell me they all flew to Kirkwall on a dragon...
Nothing so fanciful, I assure you.
Wouldn't it be so cool, though?
The witch kept her word and got them to Guaran, where they took ship. They sailed north across the waking sea, lashed by terrible storms. 2 weeks they spent in that dark hold, packed in with the fearful and the desperate. And then they saw it. Kirkwall, the city of chains. Long ago it was part of the Imperium, slaves coming from far and wide to work the quarries. Now, it's a free city, but I use the word loosely. Sail through those black cliffs and you'll see what the slaves of old saw. The gallows, welcoming you. That's where their ship landed, with all the rest.
Into the city.
What? That can't be.
It's true. Look at them all.
They're Fereldans, just like us. Fleeing for their lives.
And they would throw us all back to the wolves. Unbelievable.
Yeah, welcome home. Fuck all this. Well, this is where we'll be spending the rest of the game, so let's get comfortable.
I'm only surprised they let us dock. We need to find Gamlen. Our family has always been highly regarded in Kirkwall. He can do something, I'm sure of it.
Let's hope he received your letter.
The guards seem to be reporting to that man. Perhaps we should speak to him.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, man, this is crazy how this place is even shittier than the place we just fucking left. I'm looking around for stuff to get, because there's little chests in the boxes.
Get back to the crowd, you lot. Trying to bully your way through won't get you into Kirkwall any faster.
But you do intend to let us in.
We have enough poor of our own in the free marches. We don't need you refugees piling up here like a middens heap.
Yeah, Eveline has scary dog privilege, so I'm gonna let her speak whenever the fuck she wants.
I heard someone call this fortress the Gallows. Is it a prison?
Used to be. Back in the Imperial days. They kept slaves here until the rebellion. Now the Templars run it, and use it to lock up their mages. Guess not much has changed.
Are mages imprisoned here?
Well, no more than anywhere else. It's a circle of magi now. Magic is to serve man, not rule him. And mages are better locked up where they don't hurt anyone.
Why aren't we being allowed into the city?
If it were up to me, I'd bar the gates and let you find somewhere else to beg. But it's not. Some of you lot might have legitimate business in the city. So Knight Commander Meredith wants us to sort you all out. Most of you are getting right back on your ships, though.
That's a Templar title. Why would a city guardsman answer to the Templars?
We don't answer to her, but she's the power in Kirkwall. Don't know what would happen if the Viscount went against something she wanted, but he's sure never taken that chance.
There must be someone in charge I can speak with.
Yes, always the same story. You want in, talk to Captain Ewald. I'm just here to keep you refuse from climbing the walls.
Alright, well. We're gonna have to find a way in. Nobody wants to help us because everyone is either classist against mages or they just don't want any more fucking people in this city. Because the city is already crowded and already facing so much strife from politics. Like, this place is not where they should have been going. But, you know, as Leandra said, her family is from this city. They were expected to find, their noble titles and shit here. Like, they had money here. They did not have money over in Ferelden. She left it all behind.
Let us through, you flaming blighter. We're not staying in this pit.
Then get back on your ship and leave. Kirkwall has no more room for refugees.
The ship's already gone. We've paid good coin to get here.
You and half of Ferelden. There's nothing I can do. The city is full.
One of the guards said you were letting in people who have business in the city.
That's right. We've seen you let lots of people through.
Citizens and merchants that make it worth our while. I'll assume that you don't have any more coin than these gentlemen. We've been letting you Fereldans in for months. You're too late. There's no more room.
But we have family here. Doesn't that mean anything?
I've heard claims like that 1,000 times already, trust me. We'll find some ships to take you all back to Ferelden, eventually. Until then, you stay here.
If you find our uncle, Gamlen Amel, you might just have a few less refugees bothering you.
Gamlen? I know that name.
He's a nobleman here in the city. Our family has an estate.
A nobleman? The only Gamlen I know is a weasel who couldn't rub two coppers together. He comes back, I'll bring you to him. But I don't have time to...
What? You gonna let them through?
I didn't say anything about...
We've been here for 4 days. They just got here.
That's it. We're carving our way out of here. Men?
I knew...
Yeah, how smart is that? They're from the Ferelden army, by the way. They left the Ferelden army and came to Kirkwall. So these are people that would have been fighting for Caitlyn and stuff as well. I think, yeah, I was about to say that would have hit us.
Unbelievable.
Captain, are you all right?
I am, no thanks to you. Where is everyone? Go find them. I want this kept under control. You have my thanks. Look, I can't get you into the city. It's not my decision. But I'll find your uncle and bring him here.
It's been 3 days. This waiting has to end.
I'm sure it won't be much longer. Gamlen must still be looking for us.
And if he's not?
Don't look now, but I think that's our man.
Leandra! Damn, girl, the years haven't been kind to you.
Gamlen!
Let me say up front, I wasn't expecting this. The Blight, your husband, dead. I'd figured you'd pretty much be Ferelden for life.
Oh, Gamlen. We came too late. My poor Carver didn't make it, and Drastic guide him.
Oh, make her save me. Leandra, don't drop this on me here. I don't even know if I can help you get in.
Would it help if I said you were my favorite uncle?
It'd make me feel better, but that's about it. I was hoping to grease some palms, but the Knight Commander's been cracking down. We're gonna need more grease.
But what about the estate? Surely Father left something when he died?
Right, about the estate. It's, gone. To settle a debt. I've been meaning to write you.
Then there's no hope.
Not quite. I know some people who might help. If
Yeah, this
you're not
bastard
too
literally,
desperate about the company you keep.
fucking pawned it away at gambling. So they're poor.
Mother said our family was wealthy.
They were literally lords.
I am blighted helping. I've got 2 offers of work from people who've got the coin to open those gates.
I still can't believe you sold the estate. Gamlen, how could you?
Well, I didn't expect your blasted family to show up on my doorstep. I've got a nice place in Lowtown. You'll see, it'll all work out.
Do we need to stay in Kirkwall? Let's go to another city.
What they should have done.
This was my home. I can't believe they won't
If I'm honest.
Every city on the coast's been hip-deep in Ferelden since the Blight. You could try your luck further inland, I suppose, but it won't be easy.
No, we're not putting Mother through that. We'll find a way.
No, we should have just kept going, baby.
Let's hear it, Uncle. What do you have in mind?
I talked to my contacts, and I found some people who might be willing to pay your way into the city. The catch is, you and your sister have to work off the debt. For a year.
A year?
It's the best I could do. Trust me when I say a bunch of refugees won't get a better option anywhere else.
I'm sure we'll be free and clear before we know it.
I managed to convince my contacts to come to the gallows to meet you personally. Mirren heads up the mercenary company, the Red Iron. They're looking for recruits. Thenril, I guess you might call her a smuggler. Either one of them can help you. All you need to do is find them in the courtyard and convince them you're worth the trouble.
What do you think about this, Bethany? We've come this far. I don't care who we work for, as long as it means we don't have to go back. How dangerous is this smuggler's work?
Well, it won't be pretty working for her. She's a pretty small fish compared to some of the other thieves' guilds around here. But she's tough, she's fair, and she never deals in slaves or flesh.
What kind of man is this Mirren?
He's a hired sword. What do you expect him to be like? I wouldn't bring him home for dinner or anything, but he's got a decent reputation. I wouldn't have asked him if I thought he'd cross you.
Let's find them and see what they have to say.
Can you guess what my favorite is?
It's a lot of coin, Leandra. Don't go expecting our name to carry the kind of weight it used to.
And what of me? I will not allow others to incur debts on my behalf.
Can't see that it makes a difference. You look like a lady who can pull her own weight.
Then you'll come with us.
I have no real option. Thank you.
fun fact, in the first game, one of the characters that you can play as is called Amel. And that is Hawke's mother's surname. So Hawke and one of the Origins characters are cousins.
Are you a Fenrir?
You must be Gamlen's niece. Interesting. I don't know what he told you about us, but he certainly told us a great deal about you.
He didn't say anything about me, did he?
Enough to pique our interest, provided you can justify your uncle's confidence.
I'd like to know more about what we'd be doing for you.
I can be honest. We don't compete with the Thieves Guild, but we keep our fingers in a lot of pots. That said, we're not killers or slavers. Anything short of that, however, is fair game.
Do what you want, but this sounds fishy to me.
We can't afford to be choosy.
I hear getting us into the city isn't cheap.
If you're as good as your uncle claims, we're hoping you'll be worth it. After all, it's not every day we're offered an apostate's services.
It appears our uncle likes to talk.
The Templars in Kirkwall like to think they have all mages properly leashed, but when has that ever been true? We can keep them from taking notice while you're with us. Wouldn't be the first time.
How did you get to be one of my uncle's contacts?
Is that what he calls me?
Oh.
He owes us after that last big idea. If you turn out, though, we'll consider things even.
She said, I don't know that man.
Tell me what you need done.
There's a merchant named Cavril, friend of the Templars, so they let him set up his little shop here in the gallows. We supplied him in return for a piece of the take, but now he won't pay up. We can't go near him without him screaming for the guard, but you can. Get our money from him and you're in.
I love Athenril so bad. Also, I love the way the elves and the Kunari look in this game. Kunari is another race of characters that we'll see later. They just look so different from the other games, and I think they're really cool. I really like this design they have for both of them, and honestly, I always kind of make them look similar to the DA2 design whenever I play them in other games.
Back away from it, friend. Now.
Wait. This is Athenril's doing, isn't it? You can tell that bitch I'm going straight to the guard again.
You said that with the B pop, bro. He meant that shit. You said that with his whole fucking chest.
Care to step in here?
Only because this toad deserves it.
Yes, sir.
You have a choice. Pay, or I beat it out of you and your men.
I love her so bad, chat.
Stay back. Just take what's in the chest. Take it all.
She's so.
No, I'm getting out of here. Let those guards find someone else to buy dog-like junk.
I love her so much. She's so badass. Me and Aveline are always besties, okay? I don't give a fuck. I wanted to romance her so
You could have
bad.
given us something more challenging.
Will you look at that?
This was all Aveline, baby.
Welcome aboard.
This was all Aveline, babe. That woman, I promise you, she babysits us. Hardcore babysits us. Also, isn't it cool as fuck? Like, you know, let's not talk about the implications of the art and stuff, but isn't it, like, what the fuck? This whole art design is so cool. Like, it's such a step up from the first game, it's insane. Just so cool. Let's level up. Like, there's just so much history and atmosphere just poured in to every little detail in this game. And they always, always, always try to make the game look, or like give like little Easter eggs in the game from the other games. But they want every game to be like its own cohesive story, so you don't have to play the other games. But it's nice if you do. Let's do a willpower. To keep her stamina up. Vanguard, might, heavy swings, control. Reserves 15% of stamina for a 10% damage boost. Bolster, rally. I might get that one from Vanguard. We can't get that stuff just yet. I know I wanted to get Stonewall, but this might be helpful to give her that damage boost. Kirkwall the Gallows. Statues of tortured slaves fill the gallows courtyard, a ghastly memento of Kirkwall's history. 1,500 years ago, Kirkwall was the Tevinter Imperium's largest quarry, feeding the construction of the Imperial Highway. The Imperium's hunger for expansion led to legions of slaves forced into working the quarry. When the Empire's construction phase ended, Kirkwall slid naturally into its new role as the capital of the slave trade, the gallows at its heart. The statues are not monuments to the suffering of slaves. Every inch and angle of the courtyard was designed by Magisters bent on breaking the spirit of newcomers. Executions here took place daily, sometimes hourly, and corpses were hung from gibbets throughout the courtyard. New slaves trudging in from the docks saw what awaited them. When Our Lady turned her armies against the Imperium, the slaves of Kirkwall revolted and claimed the city for themselves. The gallows stood empty for 200 years, not to be reopened until the crowning of divine Justinian I. The gallows transformed the city again, and the abandoned prison tower became the home of Kirkwall's Circle. From In Pursuit of Knowledge, The Travels of Chantry Scholar by Brother Genetivi. So, the Tevinter Imperium is like the reigning power of the world right now and always has been. They are a society that is ran completely by mages and are extremely, extremely super powerful. So they are part of the reason why the world fears mages so much, because they are a society that runs on slaves and magical supremacy. So, the Chantry is constantly in like a battle with them, because they have two separate churches now. The Chantry does not like the Tevinter Imperium, and the Tevinter Imperium does not like the Chantry whatsoever. The Divine is like a figure that runs the Chantry. She's the like the Pope, if we were putting it into like real world terms, or like the Queen of the Chantry kind of deal. She's elected. Whenever one dies or retires, a new one is elected. It is always a woman. Now, that is the complete opposite of the Tevinter Imperium, because when their churches kind of separated and the Tevinter Imperium made a whole new one, they said, fuck you guys, we're gonna make you we're gonna make the completely opposite one. So they elected a man. They always elect a man. Our Lady refers to Andraste, who is the Jesus figure of the game. So she is a woman that is the Maker or God's bride, and she is someone that is a freer of slaves, a friend of elves, someone that helped the world in beneficial ways, and is seen as like a hero to everybody in the modern age. So she is someone that you want to be like or want to worship someone that is very, very, very important to Thedas. You'll hear her being called the Maker's Bride, Andraste, Our Lady, all that stuff.
Any luck?
Was there ever any doubt?
I'll speak to Athenril and see when the bribes can be made. Wait here.
Then we made it. The voyage is over.
Let's not do that
No
again.
more running for our lives unless we really have to.
If only Carver were here with us.
And Wesley. Well, we're off to a fantastic start. Let's see what else this city has in store.
And as you can see,
Thus
just
began
from
the
that,
champion's first
Hawke
year.
has a lot on their plate.
Word arrived from across the sea that the hero of Ferelden had defeated the Blight. But Lothering was destroyed. Kirkwall was the champion's home now. So she remained, paying off her debt. Made a name for herself in the underworld. It was a busy year in the city. That's when the Qunari landed. A great storm had caught their ship and left hundreds of warriors stranded in the city, waiting to return home. That's also when the trouble began with the mages. The Templars had become very powerful under Knight Commander Meredith. But, most importantly, that's when I first met the champion.
So now we're officially out of the tutorial. Lots of things happened. Currently, we are in a year post the first game. She couldn't go back home to Lothering, so she was forced to stay here. This is her home now. She's out of money, out of options.
No. Andraste's tits, human. You know how many people want to hire onto this expedition?
But we heard you're going into the deep roads. Surely you'll need all the help you can...
No. You're too late. Already done. This is a sort of venture that can make a man for life. I'm not about to take any chances hiring random humans.
I'll buy you a drink before we head into the deep roads. Everyone wins.
Get in line, human. Half of Kirkwall wants to be my best friend right now. You're looking for a quick way out of the slums, right? You and every other Ferelden in this dump. Find another meal ticket.
What are we supposed to do now? We've got nothing to stop the next person who tries to sell us out. This expedition was our last chance.
Don't worry, Bethany. I won't let any big bad Templars come get you.
It's not a joke. If the Templars find me, the best I can hope is to be locked away for the rest of my life. If they don't kill me outright. We need coin, status, something we can hide behind. As long as we're just refugees, we're no one. Maybe Gamlen knows someone who can talk to Bartram for us.
Our uncle's not exactly the most reliable tool in the shed.
He's all we've got. Make us save us. We might as well ask. Otherwise, I don't know what we'll do.
Hey!
I knew a guy once who could take every coin out of your pockets just by smiling at you. But you don't have the style to work Hightown, let alone the Merchants Guild. Might want to find yourself a new line of work. Off you go.
How do you do? Varric Tethras, at your service.
I apologize for Bartrand. He wouldn't know an opportunity if it hit him square in the jaw.
But you would.
I would. What my brother doesn't realize is that we need someone like you. He would never admit it either. He's too proud. I, however, am quite practical.
I love how sometimes, like, you'll hear Varric get extremely, like, dramatic and serious when he's talking, and then other times he's in that like jolly little tone, la da da. Like the jolly little tone is his actual self. Like I feel like the embellishment is where he's like talking to Cassandra and he's like, oh, I strode in, I'm so cool. He's so goofy, and that's why I kind of excuse this game a lot because anything could happen when it's Varric telling the story. I think it was a very clever angle to do the second game like this when this game was only in development for literally like a year and a half.
You're part of Bartran's venture?
That's right. The deep roads wouldn't normally be my thing, but I can't allow the head of our family to go down there alone. So as you might imagine, I have more than a passing interest in this expedition's success.
What makes you so certain we can help? You know nothing about us.
Oh, on the contrary. You've made quite the name for yourself over the last year. The Coterie has been squeezing smugglers out left and right, and the only group to survive owes it all to you two. The name Hawke is on many lips these days. Not bad for a Ferelden fresh off the boat.
You must have heard of my sister as well, then?
Only a little. She is certainly welcome to come, but I'll leave that up to you.
Frankly, I'd rather you take the credit.
Madam, your secrets are safe with me.
Find out what he's offering. We need a way into this expedition. You're going awfully far out of your way just to hire another guard.
We don't need another hireling. We need a partner. The truth is, Bartran's been tearing his beard out trying to fund this on his own, but he can't do it. Invest in the expedition. 50 sovereigns and he can't refuse. Not with me there to vouch for you.
I hope there's more to this. Like how I'm supposed to get that much coin together.
You need to think big. There's only a brief window after a blight when the deep roads won't be crawling with Darkspawn. The treasure you find down there could set you and your family up for life.
It won't be easy, but it's a chance. I think we have to take it. Better to work our way into this expedition than sit around waiting to be thrown in the gallows.
We work together, you and I, and before you know it, you'll have all the capital you need. What do you say?
There might be nothing down there except Darkspawn and rubble. How can you be sure we'll make a profit?
Well, Bartran isn't grasping at strings. He's operating on some good information. Some of the deep roads are so old, even the dwarves have forgotten them. We just need to get down there. Then Bartran will lead the way. You and I will be there to handle problems.
What makes you so certain you'll be useful to me?
I know everyone in this city worth knowing. I can help you find the jobs you need, and if you don't need me for that, there's always Bianca.
You named your crossbow.
And why not? She's a beauty. Isn't that right, sweetheart?
What's to stop you from taking my investment and running?
You'll be traveling with the expedition, and I'll be at your side. If I cross you, you'll be the first one to know, and I'll be the last.
You're asking me to take a lot on faith.
You're asking for a guarantee? I don't know that I can give you one. Look, I know the Templars have been asking questions. How terrible would it be to get out of the city for a while? If this works out, you'll be wealthy enough that the Order won't be able to touch you. You need the coin, and I need your help. We need each other. I can't make it sound better than that.
Yeah, so Varric is not the slimy salesman that he makes himself out to be. He's secretly a dude that's like just genuinely a good person. And he's also very naive. At this point in the story, he and Hawke are young. They're like in their 20s. They're still trying to get their handle on the world and like who they want to be. And so, you know, Varric is very, very, very naive about the world still, even though he might think that he's not.
It's not like I had anything better planned.
He and Bartran are very much foils of Marion and their sibling.
Some coin from every job and you'll have the money in no time.
Maybe Aveline can find us some work. She's got a position with the city guard now.
We should talk privately when you get
get the chance. In the Hanged Man, maybe. I'll be there when I'm not with you. Now, let's go see what trouble we can stir up.
Varric
Hand on your coin, Hawke.
is one of my favorite
There are
people
more
ever.
cut purses in Hightown
He's
than in the
also
rest of the
different.
city
If you can
combined.
see, he is a dwarf, which means that he's a different race, obviously. So there's 4 races in the game. There's elves, there's humans, there's dwarves, and there's Kunari. In this game, we're not going to get a Kunari companion, but in the next game we will, and we'll actually be able to play one. The Kunari have always been in the Dragon Age series in varying forms, but the first 2 games you can't play as them. And they're kind of just like a mysterious race that don't really get fleshed out until the 3rd game. This game they get a little bit more fleshed out than the first one. I think it's mostly just because the game, like, design of it was struggling a lot with how the Kunari work, technically, because in the first game, Sten was actually supposed to have horns, and he didn't, because they're a horned, like, dragon race. So I think a lot of it was just they didn't really know what to do with them, or how to make it work. So we're gonna go with magic again, and we're gonna go... I think I did willpower last time, so we're gonna go with Constitution this time. Go ahead and give her a little bit more health. We're gonna go to, I don't know. What is this one again? Glyph of Paralysis. No, we won't worry about that. I think we'll, I think we're gonna upgrade healing. I just like to get all the healing stuff set up before we get too far along. We can always get her some DPS shit, but I need a good healer. Then Varric is a rogue. He shoots the crossbow, so, you know, we're gonna give him some dex. We're gonna give him some cunning. And then we're gonna give him probably bursting arrow, if I'm honest. No, we're gonna go down here to specialist, and we're gonna grant him this one, so he can use the mode. Yeah, and then we can just go back and forth, because this grants him more, like a crit. And then I don't... yeah, she's got her mode active. I don't think Marion has one. I didn't give her one. So, we're gonna see what we got going on here. We're gonna move that to junk. This is gonna be junk. This is also gonna be junk. Birch core is a staff, so we'll see what's going on here. Birch core is 5 fire damage, so we're gonna move that to junk. Rough leather armor. We're gonna equip that. And a light helmet, so we're gonna equip that. We're gonna throw this into junk. And then we're gonna see if we got anything in our codex. So we've got a couple different quests. We still have to deliver the amulet to Keeper Marathari. This was not a joke. She was dead serious about that. Then we have to go talk to Gamlen, our uncle. Aveline has a quest for us. And then we have to make 50 sovereigns for Bartrand and the Deep Roads expedition. And then we have to go talk to Varric, who is following us. And then all this stuff is all the DLC. Most of it is just items and shit like that. But we'll do the DLC as well. They come in like a series of flashbacks. So they're really interesting. Ogre. Towering over their Darkspawn kin, the massive ogres are a rare sight on the battlefield. Traditionally, they only appear during a blight, but some records claim that ogres have been spotted in the deep roads hunting alone or in small groups. At least one report by Grey Wardens claims that the ogre was spotted along the Korkari wilds in 919 Dragon, though it was weakened and easily dispatched. Up to 100 of these creatures can accompany a Darkspawn horde at any one time during a blight, often using their great strength to burst through fortifications and demolish the front lines of the opposing army. They use brute force to charge their enemies like bulls, slam the ground with their fists to shake enemies off their feet, and hurl giant rocks into the face of oncoming foes. Melee can be difficult against a giant that snatches a warrior up in one hand, crushing the life out of him or beating him into oblivion with the other hand. The nimble can try to wiggle his way free, or an ally can attempt an array of stunning blows on an ogre to free the comrade in danger. Grey Warden lore urges caution when slaying an ogre. Unless it is ensured that they have received a major wound to the head or the heart, it is possible that they are lying dormant and will regenerate to full health within a matter of minutes. During a blight, most Grey Wardens recommend burning all Darkspawn to ashes, dead ogres in particular. Then we read this one not too long ago. Kirkwall once lived on the edge of the Tevinter Imperium and was home to nearly 1 million slaves. Stolen from elven lands or shipped from across the sea, all slaves fed the Imperium's unquenchable thirst for expansion. They worked in massive quarries and sweltering foundries that produced stone and steel for the Empire. The city's complicated past is not easy to forget, history having earmarked many corners of the Stone City. A ship approaching the harbor spots the city's namesake, an imposing black wall. It is visible for miles, and carved into the cliffside are a pantheon of vile guardians representing the old gods. Over the years, the Chantry has effaced many of the profane sentinels, but it will take many more years to erase them all. Also carved into the cliff is a channel that permits ships into the city's interior. Flanking the channel are 2 massive bronze statues, the twins of Kirkwall. The statues have a practical use. Kirkwall sits next to the narrowest point of the waking sea, and a massive chain net can be erected between the statues and the lighthouse, closing off the only narrow navigable lane. This stranglehold on sea traffic is jealously guarded by the ever-changing rulers of the city, as the net trolls taxes, tolls, and extortions from the sea. From In Pursuit of Knowledge, The Travels of a Chantry Scholar by Brother Genetivi. And then Korkari Wilds, we read about the coterie. Kirkwall is built on a solid foundation of greed and human suffering, and its underworld is a place where everything is for sale and everyone is fair game. There are many criminal empires within the city, some of which have been around since the Imperium used Kirkwall as a hub in the slave trade. Alliances, spying, manipulation, betrayal, and open warfare is all commonplace in the never-ending struggle for power. The coterie is a thieves' guild that has been around for almost a century, but until recently was never a major player in the underworld. Some 20 years ago, the strongest of the local criminal empires was an ancient guild known as Sabrathan, but its leader was betrayed from within, and during the turmoil, the coterie made a successful grab for power. Since then, they've sunk their claws into almost every level of Kirkwall, including the City Guard, the Dwarven Merchants Guild, and some of the most influential citizens in the city. It's safe to say that the coterie gets a slice of every pie, and very little goes on in Kirkwall that escapes their notice. So from the same book by Brother Genetivi, an honest answer regarding apostates. A mage who does not receive the teachings of the circle and who does not have the words of Andraste in their heart is an apostate and a danger to us all. Without the guidance of the holy chantry, a mage may foolishly dabble in the darker arts, blood magic or demon summoning, thus becoming maleficarum. And a mage's mind will ever be a doorway to spirits of the Fade. Without proper instruction, the doorway remains open and unsecured. If a demon should come through this doorway and possess a mage, an abomination is created. Abominations know only madness. They cannot be reasoned with and will slaughter man, woman, and child without thought. Whole cities have fallen to these creatures. Thousands have died at their hands. The Chantry and her Templars have a duty to ensure that this does not happen. If I knew a better way to deal with magic, I would seize upon it immediately. You say we should let mages guard themselves. I tell you that this is no solution. Look at the Tevinter Imperium. Their Magisters do not know restraint. Without Chantry oversight, the Magisters abuse their power. Those without magic are trampled underfoot and forced to serve. Slaves are slaughtered by the hundreds to feed the Magisters' hunger for power. Even some mages are not spared, and in mages, as in all humans, there exists a spectrum. On one end, there's very powerful. On one end, the very powerful, and on the other, those that can barely light a candle. The Empire cares only for the strongest, and those who do not compare favorably are thrown to the wolves. Imagine your children growing up in such a world. If a mage asked it of you, you would have to give him your daughter, not knowing what his plans for her might be. You could not resist him, and neither could she. Without our Templars and without the Circle, the common man would have no defense against magic. We must deny the mages certain freedoms for the common good. I wish there was another way. I tell the apprentices this is their test of faith, and that this is the will of the Maker. Many understand that we do what we do for their own good. Excerpt from a letter from Grand Cleric Francesca of Starkhaven to Lord Guthrie Abholtz. So yeah, lots and lots and lots of propaganda from the Chantry about mages. And you know, magic is dangerous, but it is not nearly as dangerous as, you know, a sword or anything else. And it's mostly just an excuse to oppress certain peoples, especially in regards to the what's happening over in Tevinter. The Chantry is just very toxic for multiple reasons. Bartrand Tethras, who is Varric Tethras' brother, who is the guy that we were talking to earlier. Half of Kirkwall wants to be my best friend right now. The history of noble House Tethras stretches back to the foundation of Orzammar. The memories say that 3 times a child of House Tethras took the office of Assembly Steward. They held appointments in the Shape Rate of Memories and the Shape Rate of Golems, but no longer. In the 2nd year of the reign of King Endrin Iduken, Lord Anvar Tethras was found guilty before the Assembly of willfully manipulating proving matches in favor of his house. For this affront to the ancestors, he and his house were sentenced to exile on the surface. Anvar died a mere 5 years later, leaving behind his lady Ilsa, 10-year-old Bartrand, and 2-year-old Varric. Exile, surface life, and the loss of her husband conspired against Lady Ilsa, who took to drink, leaving young Bartrand to manage what was left of House Tethras. By the time he was 15, Bartrand has doubled his family's fortune. The grace of House Tethras fueled his ambition, and his once noble title gave him an instant place among the Kalnas, the old money elite of the Dwarven Merchants Guild. He used it to build alliances and business ventures as if he were a member of the Orzammar Assembly. By the time Lady Ilsa died, Bartrand had made the Tethras family one of the guild's most influential, but wealth and power on the surface couldn't sate him. He began to court alliances with the wealthiest ascendant families, branching into banking and mercenary companies. Guild members mutter that nothing will satisfy Bartrand but a complete reconstruction of House Tethras' estate in Orzammar, down to the rivers of lava built in Kirkwall. So yeah, the dwarves are from Orzammar, which is a city beneath the ground, quite literally. They live thousands of leagues under the ground, and they have their last fortress, basically, after what happened to the Deep Roads. The Deep Roads are a, labyrinth of different, quite literal roads that used to connect different city-states called Tighes. And Orzammar did not used to be the center of the dwarven world. Orzammar just used to be a regular city, and then their last city-state capital fell, so everyone moved to Orzammar because it was the last safe place that they could live. I think eventually they're wanting to reconstruct the Deep Roads in the games and kind of spread the Dwarven Empire back out, but as of right now, they do not have the resources or power to do so. They have different weapons and inventions called golems. One of them was, golems were mentioned in here, and golems are quite literally big stone men that they have remote controls for, and the golems they used to be used as servants and construction tools and stuff like that. And then the proving is just your a Colosseum event where people will go compete for their house's honor or for their rights to do something. They are literally physically proving themselves to an assembly of people that will decide whether or not they can do something. So in that way, the dwarves are both like a republic where they have like officials that are kind of elected to do like a senate or something to kind of decide whether or not somebody can do it, but it's also a monarchy because they have a literal king. House Iduken is the current reigning king at the moment. And that's another character that you can meet from the first game. You can actually play as an Iduken, so you can be a prince. Bethany Hawke. I was just hoping it would be different here in Kirkwall. We're not running away, we're coming home. Even growing up as an apostate has not dimmed Bethany's faith in sunny nature, though it has colored her view of the world. Bethany wishes above all else to be normal. She appreciates the trouble her family took to keep her out of the circle, but the running, hiding, and constant fear have taken their toll. Though she would never admit so to her mother, not after all she sacrificed to protect her, Bethany sometimes wonders whether she would be better off in the circle. At least there would still be other mages. Confidence she'd be serving the will of the Maker and not defying a millennium of religious teachings. Still, her first loyalty is to her family. Despite her doubts, she gladly embraces her magic if it keeps them safe. She has a teasing rivalry with her twin Carver and greatly respects Marion. Carver Hawke. Carver grew up surrounded by magic he couldn't truly understand. He cares deeply for his family, but sometimes felt like the stupidest person in the room. Carver foundered in Lothering, caught between the gifts of his apostate sister Bethany and the growing skill of his more focused sibling Marion. But even as Carver groused about his lot, he remained dedicated to protecting those he loved. He didn't think twice about sacrificing himself to save his mother during the fight from the Darkspawn, and although Carver struggled to find his way in life, there is gratification in knowing his death had purpose. That shit is sad. Like, he has a whole different entry, and she has a whole different entry, whether they lived or died. Like, Carver is just, he makes me so sad. He's my favorite. Bethany, I love Bethany so much, but Carver is my favorite because he has such a dramatic character arc in Dragon Age 2, depending on what you choose. The hero Ferelden was the younger son of Bryce Cousland, Tairn of Highever. When Arl Redenhau's forces attacked Castle Cousland and murdered most of the Cousland family, the hero escaped to safety with the Grey Warden Commander Duncan, who then recruited him into the Order. The hero fought and killed the Archdemon and lived to tell the tale. With the Archdemon gone, the Darkspawn rings broke, and the Horde was easily routed. After ending the Blight, the hero Ferelden took up the mantle of Warden Commander and began the task of rebuilding the Order in Ferelden. The hero Ferelden is the first game's protagonist, by the way. This is the dude we chose in character creation. Flemeth, who is the dragon lady we saw in the beginning. She's my favorite. You are required to do nothing, least of all believe. Ages ago, legend says Ban Conabar took to wife a beautiful young woman who harbored a secret talent for magic, Flemeth of Highever, and for a time they lived happily until the arrival of a young poet, Osen, who captured the lady's heart with his verse. They turned to the chastened tribes for help and hid from Conabar's wrath in the wilds until word came to them that Conabar lay dying. His last wish was to see Flemeth's face one final time. The lovers returned, but it was a trap. Conabar killed Osen and imprisoned Flemeth in the highest tower of the castle. In grief and rage, Flemeth worked a spell to summon a spirit into this world to wreak vengeance upon her husband. Vengeance she received, but not as she planned. The spirit took possession of her, turning Flemeth into an abomination, a twisted, maddened creature. She slaughtered Conabar and all his men and fled back into the wilds. For 100 years, Flemeth plotted, stealing men from the chastened to sire monstrous daughters, horrific things that could kill a man with fear. These Korkari witches led an army of chastened from the wilds to strike at the Alamari tribes. They were defeated by the hero Cormac, and all the witches burned, so they say, but even now the Wilders whisper that Flemeth lives on in the marsh, and she and her daughters steal those men who come too near. Morgan's mother saved the last Grey Wardens from death at the top of the Tower of Ishal, but just who or what Flemeth truly is a mystery. Morrigan is one of the companions from the first game. She is Flemeth's daughter, and who Flemeth was poking fun at in the beginning, where Marion wanted to know something, and Flemeth was like, yeah, my daughter would never say that kind of thing. And then Varric Tethris, our best friend. I know everyone in this city worth knowing. Varric was born 3 years after his father's exile from Orzammar into the world of the Merchants Guild. The ancestors never spoke, and paragons were the heroes in tall tales. The number of dances a Kelna lady gave to a low-born ascendant boy were more pivotal than the reign of kings. While Bartrand ran the businesses and drove House Tethris ever higher up in the social ladder, Varric looked after his family and their retainers. His mother, Lady Ilsa, suffered terribly from the trauma of her disgrace and exile, finding solace in the liquor and smoke. It fell to her younger son to try to curb the worst of her drunken rages, to keep her from becoming a matter of public scandal, and to care for her when she fell ill from her excesses. Though he is famous throughout the Merchants Guild for his stories, Varric speaks rarely of himself or his family. Most of Kirkwall knows him. Everyone has brought him a drink at least once, for the sake of his fictions rather than his family connections. Alright. And then, you know what, I think I'm going to end it here tonight, and we'll resume this next week. Here it is. Yeah, so that is Dragon Age 2. Dragon Age 2 is one of my favorite games. My favorite game of the series is actually Inquisition, because, you know, it's not as palatable as Dragon Age 2, but it's a lot of fun. And there's a lot of characters that are going to be relevant from the series going forward, and I think it was just BioWare's best job that they could do for the Dragon Age series, you know, until Veilguard comes out. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and next week we'll start out here, where we're going to have to get the 50 sovereigns for Varric and the expedition company. I just figured it would be a good place to stop since we just finished the prologue, and then we can start with Act 1 next week. Alright, thank you everyone for coming in, and thank you everyone for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed my little PNG accessories. I think they're very cute.